So I have to go to a holiday party tomorrow. Right, it's December like 15th or something. So I have to go to a holiday party tomorrow. It's going to be the first holiday event I've attended this year. I completely opted out of Thanksgiving, didn't go to either engagement. Um, Boyfriend's been like surprisingly, almost suspiciously too, like cool with it. But I think he just like really understands. Like, oh my God, like I just I don't like it. And it's not, yeah, sure, it's like some of it is like I don't like his sisters. I don't like his nieces. Two words, Taylor Swift and vaccinated. um, but his brother-in-law is cool and his dad is cool. Um, but it's just like women are just, especially Taylor Swift girls who worship that girl. It's like, oh man, it's so weird. Like, I think she's getting backlash now for just being like pathetic, in so many ways. A pick me, not really a girl's girl, super capitalistic, blah 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 blah. But it's just like with like I've been asked. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe everyone gets asked this, but there's been multiple times when different people ask me, "Are you good at um, like knowing if somebody's a good person right off the bat?" Um, and they'll be asking because they usually want specifically my take on somebody, like if somebody brand new started or they just started dating somebody. I feel like I don't have filters because I don't have outside standards. I don't care if anyone likes me or not. I just, that's the good thing about um being bullied, like when you're young, you come out of that and you're just like, fuck you all. Like, because, I've been alone. I was alone my whole childhood, whether I was at school or home. So the fuck I could care about what anybody gave a shit about, you know, in terms of what I said or did later on in life. So anyway, it's just like, I've been asked. And so I think it's safe for me to be able to say that, yeah, I can read people pretty good. And I think probably a lot of INFJs can. I don't know. I've never met another INFJ girl, so I'm not going to say that, but because I do feel like an INFJ woman or ex woman is different from an ex man, same ex, right? But yeah, I mean, I have that reputation. I know I'm good at it because besides being asked for my opinion, um, I have, seen things play out in the long term. And I was always right. Saw that snake walk in, saw that snake play the boss or whomever, and yeah, snakes are gonna snake. So it's up to us to be able to see them. I don't get the camouflage. Like, it's just like the way they move is doesn't fit into the I don't know, the environmental foundations of what it means to be a human. Like, I don't know, it's like I can smell them or something. But anyway, yeah, Taylor Swift, as with a lot of celebrities, like specifically the whole Kardashian family, uh, just instant red flags. And so and then when they go on to be these cultural, like, behemoth things, it's just really, really upsetting because it's like, oh my God, like I feel that much more alone. Um, So anyway, yeah, long story short, I just don't really like, uh, my sister-in-law and my niece-in-laws. Like, it's just like, like, and I can tell they don't like me either. So I'm not going to force myself upon people who don't like me either. I don't. God knows what they see when they look at me. God knows. God knows. I don't know. I don't. I can say day and night, I am a good person. I try and be a good person. I only want to be a good person. But if other people see something different, other people see something different. And I can't really change that. It'd be like a Republican trying to change a Democrat's viewpoints. Like, sometimes it happens. I mean, it happens the other way around. Generally, people become much more conservative as they age, but it's such a gradual thing and such a personal thing that outside influence, via force, is just not the way to go. So anyway, I have opted out of everything this year, but I should probably go to my boyfriend's event tomorrow, even though he already said I didn't have to go. He just knows, like, I don't know, around people, I'm just not a group kind of person. I'm really not. And especially when it's all basically strangers, like, and then I don't drink, it's just like, I don't know. Who knows if I'm going to go? It's very 50-50. But I do know I have to go to the store, like, now. It's 2 o'clock. Boyfriend gets home at like 5:30, 4:30. So I need to go to the store and come back with something within 2 hours, which is really cutting it. Because I make everything from scratch, but I don't even want to go out. Like, I don't even want to go out. And I don't know. I just watched this whole interview. The Dan Bilzerian man, like, what, 10 years ago, he was like known as like this super playboy with like a weed company, I think. Yeah, that's how I know. In the weed company, when I worked in cannabis, like, it was like the company I worked for. It's not that they tried to copy him, but it was definitely like, man, if we could do what he's doing, because there's so much competition in cannabis that you really have to either be the buzz or you have to copy the buzz, which, quite honestly, that's all my company did. Like, everything from the logo to the name is a copy of, like a record label or something like that. Anyway, so now I haven't thought of that guy in years. Not that it was ever very much like anything. It was just like, oh wow, ESTP bro, like the king of ESTP bros, like, man. And that was, kind of early in my MBTI journey. And it was just like, really, I want to be like this guy. I want to be like that. Like, but it's really nice now because I just saw him. He was on some, I think, a bodybuilders podcast. Which, side note, like, one thing that I really don't like right now is where comedy is at right now. Like, Theo Von, ISFP, which, is he really a comedian? I don't know. Shane Gillis, what do I think he is? I don't know, but clearly a censor. It's just, I feel like right now in comedy, there's so many censors, and in podcasts, it's just censor, censor, censor. And, censors are not stupid. Um, but I just, because of how saturated it is with them, it's like, man, like, even Rogan. I don't know, I've been trying to type him a little bit, but I really don't like that man because I really don't trust that man. Like, really don't trust that guy. You know, the gatekeeper of gatekeepers, in short. But I think he's a censor too, and it's just like, man, like I hate this. I fucking hate this. It's just so like not one dimensional, but it's so not like enriching. The comedy is just not enriching anymore. But that said, there's a girl, oh my god, what's her name? She's like a super nerd, Catalano. Um, hold on, Catalano comedy, a comedian. Emily, I think her name is. Yeah, Emily Catalano. Oh man, so good to see an INTP out there, an INTP woman, especially doing comedy. Give me that. Give me more of that intuitive amazingness. But yeah, anyway, back to Bill Zarian. He's on this podcast, and what made me click on it? I don't know what the title was. It must have been on something to do with Israel, because that's essentially what he talked about for the first half of it. I think it's about an hour long, and basically the reason he's on there is because he's a very big outspoken critic of Israel. And I'm just like so fucking stoked. I'm so fucking stoked. It's like, wow, like the bro of bros, the king of bros, has come down from his throne and decided to throw stones at the emperor. I didn't really think that out. Because yeah, at the empire, because he's just a king, but the empire is an empire, you know. So I don't know. It was just really cool to see that, and um, I think one way that I like censors is that they do kind of they speak really bluntly a lot of the times, because they don't have the nuanced sort of verbiage of an intuitive. So he was just like, one thing he said was that I really, really liked was like, he's like, we've given basically $30 trillion to Israel. And that's basically what our debt is. Our overall debt in this country is the same amount, 30 trillion, 30 some trillion. And that was like, damn. And it does very much make sense, because that's all really people complain about now, is like, you know, why are we not why weren't we able to help the people in Maui after the fires? Why weren't we able to help the people in North Carolina after the hurricane? Why are there so many vets on the street and people over 50? Like the average age of a homeless person is like 50 or something, some 50 or somewhere in the 50s. Yeah, there's just so many people, you know, domestically speaking, who should be first in line to be helped, and instead we've been giving trillions to Israel, billions to Ukraine, a billion, I think, now to Africa, which is like, where in Africa? Like, what? That is like, I want to say, the most resource rich continent. Like, I don't know. It was just like, wow, like we really are reaching a level of just it's the paradigm shift that everybody's talking about. Because when people like that, Dan's level, you know, start talking about the actual problem, it's like, whoa, like, and maybe that's why they're rolling out the goddamn aliens in the drones, you know, all over the country now, because it's like we're reaching that level of knowing that it's like they got to act now, they got to do the blue beam now, they got to do the world or World War III or now, because I think they're blaming the drones on Iran or something stupid. Like, oh my God, stop. Like, it's done, man. Like, we don't believe that the Middle East is really out to get us anymore. Like, should have said China or something. Like, maybe then, because that's still, I think it's just their the sheer number of them is just, it's terrifying. But and their discipline and stuff like that, their intellect. But I don't know. It's just, when did that interview come out? I don't know. I don't think it was. I think it's been out for a little bit. So I don't know. Like, there's always boycotting Israeli companies and companies that help Israel. Um, but at this point, it's like people are really just buying what they can from the grocery store. So, it's not like there's very many Israeli companies. Although, that said, Kellogg and stuff like that, like, they very much feed 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 Israel people, probably. If not have full on, like, what do you call it? Investment interest in the Middle East and stuff like that, Gaza and stuff, taking that land, and then they would have contracts to grow wheat or something. So retarded. People are getting off wheat too. Like, I don't know. Overall, it's a very easy time to be depressed about things, but like, I'm actually growing more and more hopeful because, as with anytime you want to fix something, you have to first know what the issue is, like, really diagnose what's the problem, because otherwise you're going to spend a lot of time, money, and energy on things that don't actually matter. So, like, it's really, really nice. Like, people know what the problem is now. And then you throw in a little Luigi Mangione, and it becomes that much more clear that it's, because the thing with Israel is, yes, it's a country, um, but the congressmen and women in this country, and many, many other politicians, they have split their allegiance to this country and that one. So, it's for money, right? For money. Is it for the religion? I guess. I don't know. What a vile religion, though. What a like, Judaism is, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but I think obviously, like, I'm not some backwoods idiot. Like, I'm not even white. Like, I did not grow up in a family that preached, hate Jews. Um, but, I've done and seen enough independent research, if not just like actual TikToks. Not, I don't have TikTok, never have had it, but like actual videos from people in these places, and they are being tortured to a level that is just like, it's inhuman. Like, Israelites are inhuman. And it's like, oh wow, like, that's such a slippery slope to be a member of that religion, because if you're taught, if the basis of your religion is that you're better than everyone, like, it must be really hard to balance that if you're not a person that takes it to a homicidal level, within the religion. I don't know, because I've met Jews. I dated a Jew once. He definitely did not. He was a very nice boy. They're very nice people. um you know, for the most part they just want to live and let live, but like it's so hard to tease them apart. It's like how a good Jew between a and maybe it's not that hard because ultimately the Orthodox Jews don't like, because yeah, Zionist Jews are different from Orthodox Jews. Like Orthodox Jews decry the Zionist Jew, and that's the whole point. It, you know, of the Zionist Jew is like they hide amongst the other Jews. They hide in the, it's like a flock of sheep, and you got these wolves in sheep's clothes who are hiding with the regular sheep, the real sheep. Because and I use sheep because they were led to the slaughter in the Holocaust, right? And that's the story of humanity. That's the darkest part of it is the Holocaust. Whatever, I don't know. I just really interesting time to be alive. Like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Like, if everybody knows what the issue is, like, are we just going to get to a point of a Mangione? Like a certain of us, like, is somebody gonna take out that Netanyahu? Is um maybe you know, U.S. politicians that really aren't helping the U.S. as much as they should, or as much as they are Israel's interests? Like, I don't know. We really do need to clear that out. Um, the politics up, because as soon as we have that, then this country can, because this country is, yes, sure, I know, right, the biggest military in the world, 300 plus bases everywhere, but it's because I honestly think it's because we're being forced to do that. You know, as soon as we get the Israel blight off of our politicians, then maybe, I mean, right, inevitably we would start to actually focus on our own people, our own infrastructure, our own departments, our own states, blah, 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 blah. But who knows? Like, who knows? It's just, it's, it's really, because like when you're just a person, like a regular person, you know, you're not uber rich, you're not uber powerful. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? I don't know. Like, it's about everything that you don't do. Like, you don't support, I don't know, Airbnb. That, I think that's like an Israeli company. You don't, I don't know, just stupid shit like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how we can decry Israel. I guess it's person to person. Like, as soon as you know that everyone you know knows that they're kind of the issue, and by kind of I mean 90% of the issue, then that only spreads and spreads and spreads and becomes, because there's people that actually, you know, they have more pull, they have more of a reach, and they have more influence. Like, I can't really relate because I just don't, I'm not built that way, at least not right now. God knows what, you know, how, what I'll be like in 20 years. Um, but yeah, I think if you know, if I know, and if everyone I know knows and everyone you know knows, then shit has to change ultimately. Um, because at a certain point, you do get the Mangiones, you know, whether he's real or not. I don't think he's real. I mean, he might be a real person, but I don't believe that really anything about the killing of that man is real. Like, it all happened way too fast. It just happened all way too fast, and there's already so many loose ends that are never going to be tied into the rug of the story carpet of the carpet story, that it's just like, no. But it doesn't even matter whether he's real or not. It doesn't fucking matter. The message of, I think, of that story or fantasy, whichever one it is, nonfiction story or fantasy, is that at a certain point somebody breaks, and that inspires people, whether it be to copy what he or she did, or other people to change their ways, because greed is just, the level of greed is just like, there's this guy, super, super leftist person. He's kind of a lot to take. Robert Reich, I think. Robert Reich. He's like, sometimes it's good because the Democrats are sometimes really good at, um, because they like socialism, and socialism is not a B thing, like good bad thing. It's something that um, can be used in certain scenarios, like healthcare, to just bring the level of the standard of living for everyone up, you know, in a way that's organized and controlled. It happens in a lot of other countries, but yeah, I think ultimately, hopefully, one aspect of the Mangione storyline is that CEOs can do with less. Um, they can spread the wealth around. There's many a CEO that caps their salary off and ensures that they don't make more than like 6 times of what the lowest guy on the totem pole makes. You really don't need to. Like, you really don't need to. And Robert Reich was saying, like, we're living in a time where we're gonna see our first trillionaire. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't remember the first time I heard of like the first billionaire. It's weird. And that, I think that's a bad sign. Does that mean, like, when the world's first trillionaire is a thing, like, it's just gonna go right in one ear and out the next, because it's just so normalized for somebody to have that much money? I don't know, you guys. Just really interesting fucking times. And I don't know. I think ultimately the best thing that we can do right now is just talk. Just talk to your neighbor, talk to your partner, talk to your sisters, and stuff like that. Like, I know it's really, really uncomfortable, but if they are your friends, if they are your family, like, it starts with them. It starts with your union. And if you don't even talk about the things that actually matter, then why are you even friends with them? And maybe that's why I don't have very many friends, because it is, I don't know, it's sometimes like online, it seems like, especially with the Mangione thing, it's like, damn, everybody's on this. And maybe, most people are on that level, but in real life, it's like, it's so hard to find people who actually truly know what's up. And I think with a lot of people too, like their parents, like they do have that allegiance to, let's say, Israel, because they do know that they make their company a lot of money. Like, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and Boeing is a huge thing here. It's a huge employer, obviously. So I bet you there's a large percentage of Boeing people who, just because like their daddy and their daddy's daddy worked at Boeing, they've been taught that you don't criticize Israel, because that's a big portion of Boeing's customer base. I don't know, but ultimately, there's nothing wrong with being employed. Having a job is great. Having a job that you love is even better. But in order to love your job, you have to know who you're serving, where your products are going, what your products are doing for the world. So I don't know, that's sort of keeping your eyes closed to the bigger impact of what your life's work is and what your generational family's work has led to. Like that's not sustainable. Like I don't know. Like I this where I live, it's so weird. Like it's not like LA or New York with like these grandiose mega mansions and stuff like that, and just there's not Ferraris and stuff like that going down the road. But at the same time, I do know that I live in a very, very, very gilded place. Like it's one of the most gorgeous. I'm looking outside and it's fucking raining and the trees are bare. So the irony of me saying this right now, but like it's still a very beautiful place to live, just because anytime you live on the coast, like, and I'm fucking 30 miles from the coast at least. Um, but still, like when you live in a coast lined state, like especially on the west side of it, closer to the ocean, you just can't help but realize how incredibly lucky you are to be where you are. And I know that, because between Boeing and Amazon and Google and all these other ginormous companies, like there's money here. There's a lot of fucking money here. Um, so, I know I'm lucky to be here, but it's also where I was brought. Like this is where my parents decided to move when we got here from Mexico. So it's like it's not my doing, but it is my birthright to it's I wasn't born here. It's my right to be here. But at the same time, it's also I very much understand that it's a privilege. And I haven't kept up with anybody from high school, but I'm assuming that a lot of people have left because it is expensive to live here. But I don't know. All that to say, what I'm trying to say is like I'm still here because I haven't priced myself out. Like I didn't go into so much debt that I had to move somewhere where the rent was 50% less. Um, and all that to say, it's like just make good decisions. Don't put yourself in fucking debt. Pay off your debt as fast as you can. Live within your means. Like life is just so much, I think, funner in a lot of ways, like creativity wise, especially when you work within your means, because you have to be, and your life is just so much more, like you meet way more interesting people when you live within your means, because you have to depend on more people. Like I've been talking about Craigslist, the free section, a lot lately, and I feel like that's a big way where it manifests, because there is so much wealth here, there's so much resource, and there's so many people who want to give away their resources as opposed to throw them away for whatever reason. Like that's amazing. I'd love that. They were taught well. Um, but you make connections that way, especially if you bring an extrovert. Like, oh my God, now we have a new friend in this city or whatever. It's just, and maybe it's not even that deep. Honestly, it's not even really that deep. But like it's it can be too. It can be too. Whether just depending on what you or who you go with to meet this person's what you need in life. There's an exchange there. There's an opportunity to exchange energy and you know honest money, um, because when you do things locally, it makes the community that much richer. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to. Fuck. God damn it. Okay. And I'm going to wash my hair tonight. So, yeah, because I officially fell out of love with my hair yesterday. It's like, it looks it looks so bad. Like starting yesterday, now it looks like this. It looks terrible. Like it's all fluffy and not together anymore. Like, okay, like we're taking a shower. We are starting over. This is oh. Okay, guys. Take care, have fun, have a good weekend. Bye.